Sup guys, it's Alex here and welcome to my second Bracketology video for 2023. Finally made the return on Tuesday. It's either Tuesday or Wednesday's video. I don't remember which day it was. But we are back finally trying to get into the grind and making these videos only 2 months away from the NCAA tournament. And man, I am so freaking excited. In between the two videos that I made here, we had our only remaining unbeaten team fall. It was New Mexico. They made it up to number 21. I think it was Fresno State that they lost to. I think it was last night. But now we have 0 remaining undefeated teams in college basketball, and it's only January 6th. So that means that there's been crazy things going on. It means that it's really anybody's chance to win it all. I mean, Kansas is looking like the favorite right now, as you can probably read from that Joe Lunardi blurb. But this season, it just feels like anybody has a chance. Everybody's beating everybody. No team is truly separating themselves away from the pack. I mean, hey, Duke lost by 24 to NC State, I think Wednesday night or something like that. It was just absolutely crazy. But that just means that the tournament this year is going to be insane. Things have been going hilariously, what is the best word for that? I can't even think of what to say there, but there's just been a variance. There we go. Hilarious variance with all these different teams. You'll see a team beat a top 5 team one week and then lose to an undefeated team the next. It's just been absolutely crazy. But taking a look here at the bracket watch, we do have the top overall seed being Kansas. Last team in is Oklahoma State. They found their way into the tournament as of right now. And the first team out is Penn State. They were in one of the play-in games on Tuesday's video, but now they see themselves on the way out then. So taking a look here at the bubble, last 4 byes, Memphis, Auburn, who got destroyed a couple of nights ago. They were ranked. I don't know if they're going to be ranked much longer. A lot of fans in the comment section weren't too happy about their team's performance. I can't remember who they lost to, but I think it was to Georgia, which Georgia's never been. When was the last time Georgia was good in college basketball? Then we also have Maryland, and then as you look right there, Illinois. Illinois was like a top 5-ish, top 10 team just a couple months ago, but now they find themselves on the bubble. I think they lost to Northwestern actually a couple days ago. But the last 4 in, we have Utah State, Mississippi State, who I had go on a little mini run in the last video, but they got absolutely hammered a couple of days ago. Then we have Utah and Oklahoma State. First 4 out are Penn State, Oklahoma, NC State after that huge win over Duke, along with Arizona State. Next 4 out are LSU, who just lost a nail-biter against Kentucky, Texas Tech, Northwestern, and UCF. So taking a look here at the bracket, we can take a look at movement as well. We have Creighton up to an 8 seed, Nevada new to the field, Ohio State up to a 6. They move up. They had a really tough loss to Purdue at home. They put up a really good fight though, and they look good, which is probably why they moved up to a 6 line there. Mississippi State, as I mentioned earlier, falling down to an 11. Providence, I forgot to mention this too. Connecticut, the number 2, used to be number 2, I think they're number 4 right now, and suffered their 2nd loss of the season. They're like 2 out of their last 3 games, I believe. They lost it to Providence, who Providence are looking dangerous right now with Bryce Hopkins, the transfer from Kentucky. Maybe they could make a run. Then we have Illinois falling down to a 10. San Diego State up to an 8. Michigan State up to a 9. Kansas State, they had a resounding win over Texas. It was like 113 to 103, something like that. They are up to a 4 seed. Then we have Kentucky up to a 7. As I mentioned earlier, they beat LSU this week. Then we have Maryland down to a 10. Then in the South Regional, we have New Mexico down to an 8 after suffering that first loss. Virginia Tech down to a 9. TCU up to a 5. Marquette down to a 6. Pittsburgh new to the field as an 11 seed. They upset Virginia. I believe it was Virginia a couple of days ago. They are a team that could provide some scary competition for a higher seed. Missouri down to a 7. Utah State and Utah both up to the 10 line, which is weird to see a playing game as the 10 line right there. But then looking at the East Regional, we have Alabama taking the 1 line there away from Connecticut. Rutgers up to an 8. Memphis down to a 9. Miami down to a 5. Then we have Indiana down to a 6. West Virginia down to a 7, Auburn down to a 10, and then UConn down to a 2 seed. So as you guys know, every time that I make one of these bracketology videos, I go to this Excel bracket here. and I give my predictions for the tournament based off of what I think is going to happen here. So let's go ahead. Why waste any more time? Let's make some predictions. So at first, obviously, Kansas is going to beat the winner of Southern and Fairleigh Dickinson. Creighton, I think, will beat St. Mary's there, and then we're going to go with Iowa State. Moving on past Nevada, Duke will handle Liberty. Then we're going to go with Ohio State. They looked impressive against Purdue. I will not lie there. I think that they beat the winner of Mississippi State and Oklahoma State, which I think will be Oklahoma State. Arkansas will beat Indiana State. Then we're going to go with Providence over Illinois and UCLA over SIU Edwardsville, which means that I mean, right now, looking at that, I don't have an upset happening in the first round, which obviously isn't going to happen in the NCAA tournament, but I just don't see it happening here. Maybe St. Mary's over Creighton, maybe Oklahoma State over Ohio State. Ohio State's been a little inconsistent, but I mean, out of these regional, or these games here in the regional, I just don't see any upsets happening. But then we'll move on to the Sweet 16 and have Kansas advancing on past Creighton. Duke, I think, will beat Iowa State. The Duke, I mean, I don't know what is going on with them right now. Arkansas will beat Ohio State, and then UCLA will fall to Providence. I have the Friars advancing on there, pulling off the 7-2 upset into the Elite Eight. Kansas, I do think, will beat Duke, not obviously, but I think that they're going to handle Duke pretty well. Arkansas, I do think, will beat Providence. That should be a really good game, though. Arkansas just has too much talent if they can get healthy. And I had it in the last video. I'm going to keep it here. I am going with Arkansas advancing on past Kansas as a 3 seed into the Final Four. So then we'll go over here to the top right regional. Arizona will move on past Eastern Washington. Michigan State, 9-8 upset. I'm going to go with them over San Diego State. Wisconsin moving on past Iona. Kansas State beating Utah Valley. North Carolina beating Kent State. If I can click it, there we go. Gonzaga will beat Hawaii. Kentucky will beat Maryland. And then Houston will beat UNC Greensboro. So, I mean, last video I had all 11 seeds, I believe, upset 6s. But the matchups here, I just can't pick these upsets. I mean, where do you want me to pick them? Leave it in the comment section below. Call me an idiot for just picking all these higher seeds to advance. So, but for a spot in the Sweet 16, Arizona moving on past Michigan State, Kansas State advancing on past Wisconsin, Gonzaga moving on past North Carolina, and then Kentucky falling to Houston. Kentucky, if they can get it going, I think could upset Houston there. But right now, I just can't get them. I mean, Kentucky plays at Alabama on Saturday. If Kentucky wins that game, we'll see. I mean, obviously, they won't be a 7 if that happens. But I do have Houston moving on there. And I am going to go with an upset pick here. I am going with the Wildcats of Kansas State, pulling off the 4-1 upset to move on to the Elite Eight, where they will face Gonzaga, who will beat Houston, which sets up Kansas State and Gonzaga in the Elite Eight. And I will have another 3 seed in the Final Four with Gonzaga advancing on there. So now moving down to the bottom right regional. Purdue, I think, will handle the winner of Northern Kentucky and Nichols. Then I'm going to go with Virginia Tech here, moving on past New Mexico. TCU getting upset by Dayton. There's an upset for you guys. I'm going to go with the 12-5 right there. Xavier will beat Oral Roberts. Then I really want to pick Pittsburgh right there, but I just like Marquette and Shaka Smart too much there. Texas, they fired, I should have mentioned this at the beginning of the video. They fired Chris Beard after his allegations of the domestic violence, which was probably the right move at that point, just based off of what they've released to the public. Missouri, I think, will beat the winner of Utah and Utah State. And then Tennessee will beat Norfolk State. So in the first spot in the Sweet 16, we have Purdue and Zach Edey advancing on past Virginia Tech. Xavier, I think, will beat Dayton. I'm going to go with the 6-3 upset here with Marquette advancing on past Texas. And then Tennessee handling Missouri. Their battle in the second round of 2 SEC schools, don't know if that just seems kind of weird. They're facing off in the second round. I thought you had to wait until the Sweet 16, but who knows. Moving on to the Sweet 16 here, first spot in the Elite Eight. I lost track right there. We're going to go with Purdue advancing on past Xavier, and then Tennessee beating Marquette, which this is in Louisville, this regional here. If we see Purdue versus Tennessee, rematch of that classic 2019 Sweet 16 game with Carson Edwards and Admiral Schofield, Grant Williams, that whole team, that would be insane. But I'm going to go with 1 seed Purdue advancing on there. So, final region over here, bottom left, we have Alabama advancing on past Georgia Southern, Rutgers beating Memphis. I'm going to go with something crazy here. I know that Miami looks good with Isaiah Wong, but I'm going to go with a 12-5 upset with Florida Atlantic there over Miami. Baylor will be Massachusetts Lowell. Indiana will move on past the College of Charleston. Then we're going to go with Virginia over Longwood. Auburn 10 over 7 upset there over West Virginia, 2 teams that are trending down at this point. And then Connecticut over the Fighting Toothpaste. Then first spot in the Sweet 16, Alabama moving on past Rutgers. Baylor moving on past Florida Atlantic. Then Virginia with their defense is just going to hold Indiana down to like a 50-point game, and I don't think Indiana would win that game. And then we're going to go with Connecticut here, moving on past Auburn. So then for a spot in the Elite Eight, we are going to go with Alabama advancing on past Baylor, and then we are going to go with Tony Bennett, the battle-tested Virginia Cavaliers. There we go, advancing on past Connecticut there, which sets up 1 versus 3 here, Virginia versus Alabama for a spot in the Final Four. I'm going to go with Nate Oates' team here and move Nate Oates, which sets up an all-SEC Final Four matchup here. We do have 2 non-SEC schools on the other side, but Eric Musselman versus Nate Oates here, Arkansas versus Alabama. If fully healthy, I do think that Arkansas has the talent here to advance on to the national championship game. Where they will face the switching up of this matchup, I'm going to go with Purdue advancing on to the national championship game. I had Gonzaga winning on Tuesday. Just thought I'd switch it up here and go with Purdue, which sets up Arkansas versus Purdue for the national championship game. And I am going to go with a fully healthy Arkansas team, the Razorbacks, if I can actually click them right there. I think if fully healthy, Arkansas has what it takes to win the national championship this year. If not fully healthy, then I'd go with Purdue, but at this point, you're projecting 2 months out. Might as well think that the guys are going to be healthy by that point. I am going to go with the Fighting Eric Musselmans and Arkansas. So there we have it. Those are my predictions for this bracketology here on January 6th. Let me know what you guys think of the video. Thank you guys for watching. Really hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know your own thoughts in the comments below, and I will see you all later.